What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Lasting Thoughts Podcast. I'm your host, Digital Relaxation. We are back again for another episode. This episode might be short because I'm going to be doing a back-to-back kind of thing. So just gonna talk about some stuff here, and then I'm actually gonna do an episode next week. Usually I do 2 weeks, but I'm gonna drop another episode next week, and you will see why soon. As always, before we get into it, if you guys enjoy what you hear, what you guys hear, please be sure to share and rate this podcast. You can rate the podcast on Apple or Spotify or both. That'd be best. I'm mostly just gonna be talking about, I guess, media and stuff. Just briefly about stuff. Some things I'm gonna dive deeper into the next episode. Probably just one thing, maybe. As usual, what I've been up to. Starting off, haven't really been listening to anything new. Actually, just today, Novelist, the rapper I've been following, actually announced his new EP is going to be dropping, I believe, the 17th of November. I don't know why people send me snaps. So that's exciting. I noticed that November, it's like, as time been going on, it's becoming like the spending money month for the most part, or just busy or whatever, or just a lot happening. There's a few birthdays that's happening. Cost the Black Friday sale that's happening. Usually bigger. These are when the main video games start coming out, me being a gamer, so that's gonna be something I'll be looking forward to. Actually, A Plague Tale, the sequel came out today, so I'm going to have to download that and play that. And some movies are coming out. The One Piece movie coming out. The Black Panther movie coming out. So yes, it's a lot on November, which is cool, I guess. But trying to save money, man, damn. So that's mainly it. So I mentioned last episode that I started watching the Rush Hour trilogy, but I only watched the first two movies at the time, and then I watched the third one like a couple of days afterwards. And I noticed something that I kind of noticed it in the second movie, but the third movie kind of solidified it even more, that I noticed that probably nobody has been talking about. And I don't know, maybe there is some kind of logical explanation, but from just going off of dialogue that I heard in the movies, I realized that the Rush Hour timeline of the three movies are actually weird, and weird as in because of when you go by the release dates. Obviously the third movie came out 2007. And the first movie came out in 98. So there's a big gap. Of course, the second one came out in 2001. So even that, from the third one to the second one, that was a 6-year gap. But I learned through listening and through when Chris Rock and Jackie Chan character would speak about certain events, that the entire trilogy from what I'm gathering, the entire trilogy takes place in a matter of 6 to 7 months tops, maybe 8 months tops. So yeah, this is weird. Like I said, I'm not one of those guys who like be deep diving into movies and looking for like news articles to see if it just says a year on it, or looking for a flyer. I'm pretty sure it might have been something there, but I just went off for dialogue, so that the events of all three of these movies happened within a year, basically. Because at the end of the first Rush Hour movie, Chris Tucker character leaves Hong Kong with Jackie, because he finally taking a vacation. And I believe that vacation, I think it was like a 2-week vacation. I'm not sure. So he was in Hong Kong for 2 weeks. And when Rush Hour 2 starts, he was basically, it was like the last week or the last few days of the vacation. And he was already, because he in the beginning of the movie, he was complaining that, this whole time that I've been on vacation here, you always been doing work, and like I want to like explore more. Like he ain't had time to explore Hong Kong as much as he wanted to. So it only been 2 weeks since the first movie and the second movie happened. Granted, like I said, well, I'm gonna get to that in a second. But so, yeah, then the second movie happens, and then the third movie happened, and we get one line. Well, we get it twice, but we get the line of, because there's the girl, I believe her name is Isabella. In the second movie, she was the undercover Latina chick that they were spying on through the hotel room. Apparently her and Jackie got together because she went to New York, and Chris Rock was like, what is something you want to do? And he said, I always want to go to Madison Square Garden. So they both went to New York to basically chase after her. So they got together. And apparently the story is that Chris Rock accidentally shot her. I don't remember exactly why, but he accidentally shot her. So, but they mentioned that it happened 6 months ago. So that means from the events of Rush Hour 2 to Rush Hour 3 was 6 months. That's what, at least 7 to 8 months. It's like, obviously, maybe they spent some time together, but yeah. But who knows? Because the one factor about Rush Hour 3 and Rush Hour 1 obviously is Soo Young. She's the little girl in the first movie. She came back in the third movie. I don't think they really do a age explanation or how old she is or whatever. But even Chris Rock was like, oh, like, because he still would think about her as being a little girl, like, oh, we should get her like a little teddy bear or something. Anyway, she walks in and she's like, a full-blown teenager, or, well, I'm assuming maybe she's like in her late teens, but she looked like she might be in her, like, if I were to guess, like, at the time of the actress, maybe she would probably no older than maybe 21. But like I said, timeline wise, that would be weird because she was like 10 in the first movie, and not even a single year has passed between all three movies, so she would still at least probably be 11. So that's the factor of maybe Rush Hour 2 and Rush Hour 3 had a few year gap, but the events of him shooting his girlfriend was 6 months ago. That's where it's tricky. So if that's the case, man, like I said, I don't know, it's tricky, but I was going by what year the movie, what year the entire timeline would be, and if I was going by like maybe a few years has passed, I would give the benefit of the doubt that maybe her in character actress might be 18, maybe. That would be 8 years. So going from the first movie, which takes place in 98, to 8 years after that would be what, 2006? That's off my head. I don't know. Probably not. But that's actually a year before the actual movie came out. So technically, I guess that would be right. But that still means Rush Hour 1 and Rush Hour 2 still takes place technically in 98, even though Rush Hour 2 came out in 2001. So, interesting little things that, like I said, that's why I like watching movies when I'm older that I enjoyed when I was younger. Because I catch weird stuff like that. It's like, oh, I would have noticed like there's actually a weird time thing going on. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Rush Hour 3. I'm pretty sure I talked about which one's my favorite one. It's definitely the second one. It's always been the second one. I think I seen the second one, and I think I seen the second one. I don't want my memories to fail me there, but I know for a fact I seen the third one in theaters. But I want to say I think I seen the second one in theaters as well. So that's why those two are kind of more special to me than the first one, because obviously the first one came it didn't come out before my time, but by the time I knew what Rush Hour 1 was, it probably was already like, at the time frame. Probably, I would say probably like maybe it was the year 2000, maybe. By the time I knew what Rush Hour was, 99, 2000. So when the second one came out, like, oh, okay. But yeah, Rush Hour. She-Hulk, the series the season has ended. I said that I would give like a good review or whatever about the whole thing. I didn't want to talk about every episode. But I'm actually going to save that for the next week episode. So I'll just give my light little impression of the whole series. It was cool. I don't think it deserved the hate that it initially got, which I noticed that it got kind of more quiet as time went on. That's why I didn't want to know if people were judging it off of the first episode. I don't think it would. The word is escaping me. I don't think it deserved the hate that it got, but it wasn't a great show. My problem with She-Hulk is that the whole purpose of the show basically established everything around She-Hulk, and She-Hulk just happens to be the character that we're focusing on. We got information that the Sokovia Accords are no longer in effect, so people are now able to be vigilant, masked, and anonymous superheroes such as Daredevil, and Spider-Man, who's usually been big on keeping his identity a secret. So now that he's forgotten, that's a thing for him again now. So people now have the choice to actually be anonymous again. They don't have to sign the accords. We learned that people are getting powers. I don't know how that's yet to be explained. I'm guessing this is going to lead towards mutants, as we are slowly putting mutants into the timeline. But there's people who just coming out of nowhere with powers, and they got to the point where they made a superhero law firm specifically for people who are super powered. And so the fact that it went from even in the Avengers, like, even though they didn't specifically say it, so if we go by off just the bases, it was just Bruce Banner, Steve Rogers, Thor, and that's about it in terms of like actual physical enhancement powers. Obviously, technically, I believe in the comics, I'm not sure, don't quote me, I didn't read the comics, but I believe Black Widow has some form of the super soldier serum, but they never stated it in her like storyline in the MCU. So technically, Black Widow is just a skilled fighter, Hawkeye just a skilled archer, and Tony Stark is just a genius who create weapons and managed to condense it into a suit. So it went from that and we got introduced to Titania, who just happens to be super strong for some reason. What's his name? The immortal dude who can't die. And other people who we learned about, the person who designed costumes for superheroes. So now we see how people get in their costumes. Like I said, all it did was just a big season of world building for the MCU on where we are in the world. Like, we're normalizing that there's gonna be more superpowered people just out and about now, which means there's gonna be more super villains out and about now, which can get more like it's not gonna be confusing when you watch shows like She-Hulk and Daredevil and Moon Knight or whatever, and be like, where the heck is these superpowered people coming from? Now it's established that these people are out and about. It's not explained yet why. Like I said, maybe they're gonna just be considered mutants, because I don't know how these dudes just randomly getting powers. And yeah, so like I said, She-Hulk just happens to be the character we're focusing on. So that's what sucks in her story, because there wasn't much they did. She didn't even have a story. Like they literally, she didn't have no story basically. Her story literally could have been summed up in like 2 episodes. But like I said, we're gonna talk about it more. I just went into it, but I want to get, I guess, more in details with it. So gonna talk about that next episode. I'm gonna talk about this more, but the Kanye situation has happened. First it was the White Lives Matter shirt, and then his recent Drink Champ interview. I'll get into that in a moment. I finally watched Clerks 3. That was actually interesting, and I don't know, I guess it was a twist that I guess I wasn't expecting because of how the trailer was promoting the story. It definitely was a great movie. If you are into that franchise and that universe, I would say it's a good, I don't know, because I heard rumors. I'm not sure if it was confirmed or not, but Kevin Smith did say that he already had another movie planned that's within this universe, I believe. So I don't know how that's going to work, but I would say Clerks 3 does a good, I don't know, it's hard to explain, because Clerks 3 and the Jane Silent Bob reboot both did a good job at tying up loose ends throughout the universe. So the only question now is, if he is planning another movie, what is going to be the final loose end? Because I feel like Clerks 3 is kind of a good conclusion, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I welcome more movies, but it's going to be weird, maybe, depending on what the story is. And Clerks 3. Obviously, I'm not gonna give no spoilers, but good movie. I think I talked about it. I think I talked about I wanted to do it, but I got sucked into it again. I am on to my 4th Cyberpunk playthrough. I really love that game. Which is weird, because it's like, I don't know, it's a game that I'm not familiar with in terms of like the game mechanics, the world building, like just, I was mainly the game mechanics, like the whole building your character a certain way. Like most games that comes with skill trees usually are catered to just leveling up your person. Like your character is this, like, your character can run fast, your character is strong, your character can jump high, and you got a skill tree that's just enhances it. Oh, you can run even more faster, or you can jump even higher, you be even stronger. So to make a game where you cater to how exactly you want your character to be, you want your character to be some very fast, time manipulating assassin, or you want to go in guns blazing and just shoot everything and be a full tank, you can specifically make your character like that. I'm not used to playing games like that, and for me to like fully get immersed into that style was different from me. I talked about this game far more than enough, about how it just changed my perspective on how I viewed the game and end up loving it. So I'm already on my fourth playthrough. This fourth playthrough, I am using mods. Finally figured out how to use mods on Cyberpunk. It was a little annoying. But the playthrough I'm doing is I made my character look like Lucy. So it's a sequel technically to the Edge Runner anime where basically I'm playing as her getting revenge after the anime. Obviously the V story is the V story, but my headcanon is that she's getting revenge on Arasaka for what happened. So that's my fourth playthrough, and I already have it in my head that I'm definitely gonna do a fifth playthrough as well. And yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. I'm already, because now that I'm getting more familiar with mods, I'm already slightly touching the possibility of doing a sixth playthrough. I'm just gonna be playing Cyberpunk, and the expansion coming out, bro. Cyberpunk is, I don't know how they did it. I don't know how the hell they did. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm speechless. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. Cyberpunk. If you haven't played it, play it. If you haven't watched the anime, watch it. Yeah. Just yesterday, we got in the reveal of our new Apex Legend, it seems. It was only a storyline, so we have no gameplay. So I have zero clue on what this person can do, but I'm not sure. But it seems like there's an obvious split in the community about their feelings to this new character, because this is their first trans character in the game. So Apex has not been shy about cultural and LGBT representation in the game. Since the game first started, one of the first characters, one of the first two characters that's in the base game once you get it is Gibraltar. He's gay, and Bloodhound is non-binary because we have no clue what their gender is. I mean, there's a story that shows a flashback of when they were young, but they look what's the word? I want to say gender fluid, where they can look either or depending on your perspective. So we do not know if Bloodhound is a male or a female. And they've been flirting with Fuse lately. So if Bloodhound is male, then that would make, so we don't know. Loba is is it right to say these words? It's like Loba is L of the LGBT. Valkyrie seems to be, I want to say Valkyrie seems to be L, but I don't know. Like, well, they obviously, one is more masculine and one's more feminine. Who else? We not 100% sure, but we had Seer, who has there's a word for it, bruh. I don't know what it is. It's like people like Prince, where you can't really tell their sexuality because of like they dress flamboyant or they move flamboyant, but yet you see them around girls, so it's hard to tell if they on both sides or they just like to look that way, but they like women. So there's a lot of representation for everyone. And a lot of people were split on this one because it's like people are like, how did we get from, because obviously this game came from the Titanfall universe, so people are like, how did we get from Titanfall, where the game is about two military factions going to war and titans and soldiers and all of this, to just about almost it's like a good 70% of the characters in the Apex Legend game is some form of LGBT representation. It's like, why is it like people all know, why are we focusing so much on their sexuality rather than them just being, dope combatants, I guess. And I mean, I'm split down the middle on it. I don't necessarily care, but it's hard to explain because obviously I'm just going off of assumptions. I kind of don't like how they kind of made it a deal because I didn't, before they said it, you can see how the character look and their voice. It was like, oh, you look feminine, but your voice sounds, masculine enough that it's like you had a transition. So I was like, I think this person may be trans, and then they admitted it within the cutscene that they did transition. But the way that they talked about it was like, what? Let me see. What? Yeah, Apex. I know this is in the far future. So the Apex the year of Apex takes place in the year 2733. So 2733. That's the year in Apex. And they still talking about being trans as if it's still a shunned thing or something that's still hard to do in society. That's the only thing I'm like, bruh, like, y'all 700 years past where we are. Like, we're still at that stage where it's like you're uncomfortable. Like, people are still making you uncomfortable with your identity. Like, I feel like that shouldn't have been such a big focus. I think they should have been more confident because they didn't seem too confident. And they felt like they just got their confidence when they transitioned, because they mentioned like they felt like they were like, they weren't free before. Now they feel free. And it's like, I don't know. I felt like it would have been better if they would have showed them off rip being confident about being a trans, like, and just being a badass. So I don't know. That's my only thing. Cause like I said, it's this year. We still like, are we still like this in society where that's a thing? Like, we over here with so much future technology going on and we're still worrying about what people identify as. Like, damn, 700 years later. So I don't know. I feel like they didn't need to make it seem like that was still a troubling thing. We should feel more, if you want to be more progressive, I guess you should make it feel like, yeah, it's just, I transitioned. Now I can just be the best me. But like, they made it sound like they were like struggling with coming to terms that they finally transitioned. It's like, oh, now I finally can be me. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. But my only personal issue so far is their character kind of, obviously because we got no gameplay trailer, but looking at their character, they kind of make no sense. Like, some characters you can tell from when you watch their trailer that, oh, like if you were to watch something with Lifeline, maybe you can tell like, oh, she's a medic, like she's big on saving people's lives, so I guess that's the role she's gonna play. Even the last character, like, oh, she's a hunter, so that's gonna be her style, like she's into hunting and she has her little bird. This one, they just showed some goop thing that they saw in a factory and that was it. So unless they figure out a way to weaponize it, which if they do, this character is gonna be broken as all new characters are when they come in the game, so they're gonna get nerfed heavy. But so far, the character don't make no sense from a tactical aspect in the game. I don't I don't care what you identify as. Like, you don't make no sense being on the field because you have no skills. Like, so the 20th we should be getting, I guess we should be getting gameplay trailer of what this person can do or overview. So we'll be able to figure out what they can do, and if it's good, and if it's something that's advantage or tactical, I would definitely play with them. I always play with the new legends. But as far as me maining them, I don't know. One thing I do know is that it takes me time to main certain characters. Like recently, I just started maining Newcastle, and he was 2 legends ago. So recently, I just started like finally messing with Newcastle. I didn't like him at first, but it takes time for me to, I guess, warm up to them, and maybe because they do any kind of nerfs or buffs to them. From when they first came out, I'm like, oh, this person feels better now. So I don't know. We shall see. But yeah, so the one thing I wanted to talk about in this whole speech here was that in the video, I don't know if it's still present, but when a video just got released yesterday, like all the comments was just basically a troll comment, just basically talking about something that's completely irrelevant from what was shown. And I'm guessing people didn't like it. And I guess that's the point of, yeah, you guys are kind of proving the point of my question of this is 700 years in the future of our timeline. And this person's alluded to making it seem like they had a difficult, experience with trying to transition, and here you guys are talking about, man, we don't want trans in here, not games. Like, this has nothing to do with fighting and war. I mean, bruh, it's a free-to-play live server game. If you want to make the game inclusive for everybody to play the game, you gotta do something to represent something. Fortnite made 0 sense when it went from military people in the background fighting each other to now we have Marvel Universe fighting against the Dragon Ball Z and the Naruto universe. Like, obviously, things ain't gonna make sense eventually, but it's all about inclusion. Now you can play Fortnite with Goku and do TikTok dances that you see on TikTok. Like, it's just the inclusion of that, these are things that's in your life and it's all in one form of media. So yeah, I like playing shooter games, and I'm a person who identify a certain way and this character relates to me. Yeah, it makes sense. So there should be no reason why we still judging characters for their appearance and whatnot. My only thing is, like I said, make the character make sense in the gameplay aspect. And my only question was why it seemed like 700 years later we are still having a social issue of transitioning. So yeah, that was my only thing. But yeah, all right, so back to Kanye. Now, I don't care about Kanye enough to be searching everything and dissecting stuff. I'm not no expert on Kanye. I would say I love his music, but even that to a degree, the last full Kanye the last Kanye project I cared about and listening to in full length was Yeezus. But the last time I was like heavily following Kanye was actually up to 808s. I didn't listen to My Dark Twisted Fantasy when it first came out. It's just something about it just didn't capture me. None of the singles were appealing to me. It wasn't until not recently, but a few years ago that I actually listened to it. But when Yeezus came out, I listened to that day one when it came out. So I skipped an album. But after that, I have not listened to a full-length Kanye album since. So I can't even say that I'm a huge Kanye fan like that. But yeah, let me take a sip of water real quick. But so he was on Drink Champs. I don't know when, but the episode was out, and I think yesterday he got taken down But once something's on the internet, it's always on the internet. People have been uploading clips, and to the extent re-uploaded the entire interview, which is like 3.5 hours long. I listened to the whole thing when it was released on Drink Champ while I was working. So I was just listening to that. And I'm not trying to defend or break down the points. To summarize, if you have not listened to what he has said or whatever, to summarize what Kanye's new issue is that he feels, because I don't like I said, I don't know the timeline, but apparently he's been saying some anti-Semitic stuff, and there's been something going on with George Floyd too. I'm not researching that either, but his whole thing was they censoring him. They trying to basically what it is. He feels like they're like there's just this big scheme against him. Like they trying to censor him. They took his shows away. They won't let him wear his White Lives Matter shirt. Jamie Lee Curtis said that she hopes that they take his kids away from him. So he feels like hey, y'all are all attacking me, but y'all want me to still be for the culture. And the one time I asked you guys for help, which was when he didn't know where his daughter's birthday was, nobody would know y'all wasn't helping him. And he felt like, I guess he feels like, don't feel like you want me to be this responsible leader or whatever, even though he claims to be a leader, but it's like he contradicts himself and like, don't expect me to be the leader you want me to be when you can't be there for me in my time of need as well. But it seems more like it just seems more self-centered, like, because it's directly impacting him more so than because he's trying to make it a race thing. I want my black people to have the same luxuries as Jewish people have and whatnot. Like, how they managed to come up out of their oppression and overcome and got to a point where they are with their community. He wants black people to be like that, which is 100% facts. Black people definitely need, because we have been long overdue for our, justice for what happened to us and still happening to us. But the problem with his message is that it feels personal to him because these things are directly affecting him more than, he's not looking at it like, he's not making a lot of examples of multiple black people being censored, multiple black people being taken down. It's because it was happening to him. Now he feels like, we gotta stick together, and black people gotta come together. And it's like, nah, don't try to make a community now when it's affecting you. Like, you gotta be 100% community from day one. So there's a lot of contradiction, he's saying some factual things, but like I said, the problem is that it's personal to him, and that's why his message is not valid, because it feels like if it was not bothering him, he would not be saying none of this stuff. That's the thing. So you gotta be 100% with the community if that's how you're gonna be talking from day one. So that's Kanye's situation. The main thing I'm getting out of the Kanye situation, though, I want to talk about is the whole, because I'm seeing a lot of people comment like, oh, y'all kind of proving his point by taking the video down or whatnot, that they trying to censor him. So we questioning freedom of speech. Is it still there? Like, I was, the point was that you can talk about killing and destroying another black person, but once you talk about I don't know, the powers that be, I guess, that's when they censor you. And it's like, do we really have freedom of speech and whatnot? Also recently I was listening to another podcast where he talks about, well, not Kanye, but another brother, Reza Islam, talks about, you know, you get they censored the president, like, you know, they took him off of social media and all, like they censored the president of the United States. You're supposed to be you're supposed to technically be, you know, even though you're more so a figurehead, but in the general eye, you're supposed to be the top of the leaderboard of America, and you can get censored. So what does that mean for people who's, you know, like us? Once we get out of line and say things they don't like we don't stand a chance. So yeah, the question is about how much freedom of speech do we really have? If it's not, you know, obviously if it's not benefiting whoever the powers that be and promoting their agenda and whatever, like I said, no, we can get away with talking about, you know, rap music and whatever, get away talking about killing each other and doing this to your girl or whatever. But once you talk about, you know, quote unquote anti-Semitic stuff, it's a wrap for you. Taking him up, like, no, they closing his bank or whatever, censoring, they took his shows away. So they taking down the videos where he's speaking about these things. So don't get it twisted with what Kanye is doing, because yes, the only thing I do kind of somewhat in regard respect of Kanye doing is kind of putting himself in that perspective, in that position where it's like, I'm crazy enough, well, quote unquote crazy enough, because, you know, who are we to say what? I'm the one who's, I guess, bold enough to put myself in this position where I'm gonna step out of line, and I'm gonna show you what happens if I step out of line, and just to prove my point that we are still technically not free. But obviously Kanye and me have different bank accounts on how free we can be with getting away with certain things. You can still go home to a big house or whatever, but me, if I do something, get out of line, and that costs me my job, I'm screwed. So we have two different luxuries of how far we can get out of line. So yeah, I'm all for celebrities stepping out of line to prove a point. But like I said, don't make this personal. Make it, if you're going to be about the community, you got to be about the communities from day one. We got to know what your intentions was from day one. Most of your stuff been flip-flopping because it's been personally directing you. When you get quiet, then nothing is happening to you. You're supposed to be constantly saying stuff. But once it happens to you, that's when Kanye starts getting in the media. So that's where it's like, can we really support what he's saying? Like, I think you should just watch and observe what's happening to him and see, you know, what that means for you, I guess, more so. So yeah, I didn't want to talk about what it wasn't really originally on my notes, but the algorithms put this up in my face like a couple of times, so I'm gonna talk about it a little bit. This is something I would like to talk to about with a female guest, specifically a guest that I've been alluding to for the longest. Hopefully we can do a episode. But DJ Academics recently was caught just getting embarrassed on I think it was the Fit and Fresh, I don't know what it is, a podcast or just a talk show roundtable thing, where he got into it with a female who clearly has the energy that's like she got her shit figured out. She's comfortable with her place in life. She won't let no dude bother her or whatever. So Academics was like trying to be all tough with her, trying to clown her for having a deeper voice that's not girly girl feminine voice. which that's something, oh my god. That's a topic I want to talk about. I want to talk about so much with this one person. It's like, that's why I said this episode, I feel like whenever I do this episode, this person is probably gonna be a 2-part episode. It's like gonna be like 3 hours each. But talking about, well, one of the things I want to talk about is the sexualization and fetishing of females and males, but having age differences or fetishizing ages. There's, some girl, like I say, he want a girl who sounds girly girl, whatever. Then there's the people who like girls who just, they just built smaller, and it's like, are you attracted to her because she's small? But that's for another time. So he's like, oh, like he's trying to like get under her skin and tell her things like, oh, you got a deep voice or whatever. And she's like, bro, like, I don't have to prove nothing to you because you're not my guy. Like, I don't understand why you like so hung up with my voice. I don't care why you so hung up about how I look. And then like she's just getting under his skin. And this man immediately just started going to, well, I got more money than your boyfriend. How about that? And like, so like she literally said like, bro, but you're still unhappy, because if you wasn't unhappy, you wouldn't be acting so aggressive towards me. Like, all that money stuff don't matter, because how many times have we heard of all these rich people who, off themselves? Like, money does not buy you happiness. We know the phrase already. So this man just basically got shut down, and then he was like getting all trying to scream, and he got that voice where it constantly breaks when he gets high pitch. So he's trying to be all tough. He's clearly drunk. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to go with that boy. But he needs his humbling moment, and hopefully it'll come soon. But he's one of those dudes who feels like, he got to a point in life where he got certain status and certain money, so now he feel like certain people are beneath him now. He feel like he can buy himself into situations and buy himself whatever he wants. And she like kind of basically puts it in perspective that like, bro, like you like, you're not attractive physically, going at his weight. I don't care about your money because you're unhappy. Like, why would she be with someone who clearly has a huge insecurity about himself when she seems to be satisfied with her person? Like, it don't matter if he's making a lot of money or not. They're clearly in a relationship where she's still willing to rock with him for who he is, and vice versa. So I don't know what's wrong with that man. But there was also another video, but I don't even want to talk about this dude no more. I wrote this down. I forgot what I had in my mind. Well, I think it related to the Apex thing. But I guess it's like the overall summarization of this topics and whatever. Just enjoying what you want and enjoying things that you like, enjoying things you love and whatnot. Like, there's a lot of, like I said, the Apex Legends, a lot of people, just if it doesn't appeal to them or if it doesn't fit their agenda or whatever it is, like, granted, all right, cool. Like, yeah, it's a new trans character coming out, but you like the game. That means you clearly have a character that you resonate with. If you don't like that character, don't pick the character. Like, bro, like, you're not forced to play with these characters. If you want to just play with, oh, I like a straight dude, masculine dude. Well, I'm pretty sure there's a few straight masculine dudes. Oh, I like a strong single woman, or whatever the case is, whatever you identify as, whatever it is you like, the character is there. Don't try to discredit the entire game because of one character. Like, enjoy what you enjoy. The same thing with Cyberpunk, same thing with Overwatch. Recently that had its issue. I've seen a couple of videos where people talk about how that game is a disappointing sequel. Regardless, like, I mean, I didn't play the game to personally break it down myself, but if the game, because I know a lot of people saying the game is still at its core still the same game, and if that's the case, I mean, you should still be technically having the same fun. Yeah, they kind of took away certain things. That's like one thing. I guess the one thing I'm noticing from seeing videos and talking to other people who play the game, I think they made this game more competitive in a sense of you guys have to be synchronized on this game now because of they removed the extra character. So now you guys really have to your tank character really has to be a tank now. So I mean, I guess that's good for the competitive, but that's also that's a video I want to make too. I think that's gonna be my episode 3 of what happened. The multiplayer gaming is catering to the competitive scene more than the casual scene. I mean, that's my problem with Apex and other games where they nerf weapons or take out certain abilities that were perfectly fine, but because they didn't like it when they played it in a tournament, it's gone. It's like, bro, we don't care about you in your tournament. Like, dude, what about all of us who play the game for fun? Like, nobody's taking fun stuff out the game. So yeah, I don't know, man. Just enjoy what you enjoy, like what you like, play what you play, watch what you watch, listen to what you listen to, man. Just stop worrying about so much stuff in life, bro. Just enjoy your lives, man. I don't know where that rant was going, but yeah, I guess this episode was a little bit longer than I thought. I thought this would be like 20 minutes, but yeah, man. Like I said, next week I'm going to drop another episode. Or I don't know. Cause like I said, I thought this episode would be shorter. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I am going to try to do a back-to-back episode. But in terms of recording, but in terms of dropping it, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll just do my regular 2 weeks, but I might drop it next week. I don't know. But if, that's gonna put me on a 3-week. I don't know. I might do 2 weeks. Cause if I do drop it next week, then that means I'm also gonna drop another episode the following week, and then that's when I'll finally get my week break. I don't want to overdo it like I did when I first started this podcast, when I was trying to do weekly episodes and I got burnt out quickly because trying to, work a job and have a normal life, but at the same time trying to come up with episodes to talk about in a timely enough fashion. I need that extra week to talk about things and whatnot. And also give time for certain things to happen in the media. Just today, actually, the Creed 3 trailer came out. So look, hey, I would have missed that if I kept on doing episodes quickly. But yeah, man, I don't know. Enjoy what you enjoy, like what you like, love what you love. And yeah, man, pay attention, watch stuff, make your own choices, make your own opinions. Yeah. But do I have a question? I have none written down, but if I want to think about a question, nah, I don't have none. It's not a question. It's just message day. Just enjoy what you enjoy. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, though, speaking of enjoying, please be sure to let people know that you enjoy their content by, depending on what it is, by purchasing it, liking it, rating it 5 stars on Apple and Spotify, subscribing, all of that good stuff that you can do to support people that you like. And also be sure to share it, man, because you don't have to like things by yourself. People, that's the one thing I notice about myself too. Well, I don't know. Maybe sometimes it's your friends, that there's a lot of things that I like, and it could be the same genre. Like, me and my friends like anime, but I like certain type of anime. They don't, or they just don't I don't want to say they don't, but they they prefer a different style, and it's like I can't talk to them about that anime. So like no, but it doesn't hurt to share it. Like see if you can start a conversation. So yeah, man, people who enjoy listening to podcasts or whatever or something, share it. You guys can talk about certain things I talk about amongst yourselves, because that's kind of the purpose of my podcast, to start dialogue and give you guys questions to answer and ask yourselves, like such as freedom of speech and whatnot. So yeah, that was a long intro. I'll see you guys next episode. Hope you guys have a great day, a great week, and yeah, peace.